Well, good morning. This is John from Poor Man's Garage. I know last night when last time you saw the motor was hanging in the air. Well, I decided that I'd come back out to the garage and drop the motor back down and wait till the next day. Because I was tired, and it's just not a good idea to do anything like that when you're tired. So, it's a good thing that I did, because there was a few things that I missed, and I want to show you guys. Remember how I was telling you that putting this motor in, we don't want to have the crankshaft pulley on. You don't want to have your starter in, and what I forgot to mention to you guys is you can't have the spark plugs in the motor, because as the motor slides down, the spark plugs get in the way of the header flanges. And I got the exhaust side of the head covered with Gorilla Tape. We got to pull that off because we'll never get it off once we get it in the car, because the headers will be right there holding the Gorilla Tape in. So, and then the other thing is the bolt in the back of the motor. I had too long of a bolt in there. When you slide the motor in the car, you won't be able to unscrew the bolt, so I had to have a shorter bolt. Well, these are all stuff that I missed last night. Good thing I waited till this morning to put it in. And also I changed my rigging around. The last time you guys seen it, I was using a come along. I went out and I bought a chain fault this morning, 1-ton chain fault. And I'm going to use the come along to pull the car up onto the ramps, because I was having a problem pushing the car up on the ramps by myself. This time I got a chain, and I'll use the come along to pull the car up on the ramps. You'll understand more when you see what's going on. So anyways, let me show you what's happening here. So here's the motor now. So there's my rigging now. There's the chain fault. And here's what I'm talking about, the bolt in the back of the motor here. See, I had this bolt in there. It's way too long. I'll never be able to get it out once the motor goes in the car. So now you got to have the longest bolt you can get in there with a whole lot of thread. I mean, you got to put in, like, I think there's about 3/4 of an inch. So we're gonna screw this in, and this is an Allen, so this is like grade 9. Grade 8, grade 9. It's not as good as, believe it or not, it's not as strong as this ARP 300 series stainless. Even though everybody says stainless steel, oh, it's weak, it's only grade 5. Well, normally from the hardware, it's grade 5, but from ARP, believe me when I tell you, this is like grade 11. So anyways, let's screw this in. That's where we want to be. So now we'll be able to get that, once we slide it in the car, I'll be able to get that bolt out. Also, the spark plugs got to come out. I forgot about it. So all the spark plugs got to come out, and this tape's got to come off too. So let's pull this tape off. This is that Gorilla Tape. It's really strong stuff. Let's pull the tape off the other side. And we got to pull the spark plugs out. So I forgot about it. So and here's my chain. The chain goes. It's gonna get hooked up to the car, and I guess hooked up to the lift there. And it's gonna help me pull the car up on the ramp. See the ramps there? And the car's waiting outside for us. And it rained last night, but good thing it's not snowing, it's just rain. So we'll get this thing going here. But I got it right now. We gotta pull the plugs out too. So spark plug's got to come out of the motor. All right. Okay, this is it here. We're gonna make this thing happen. We're gonna put this motor in this car. I'm going to show you a little bit more about the spark plugs. I know I talked about it earlier. I'll show you some other things about the spark plugs. Okay. The other thing about the spark plug is it's a 5/8. So a 5/8 socket fits in it. So when you go and put it in a motor, if you have the spark plug that's got the bigger socket, you have a hard time getting the spark plugs in and out of the motor. Also, this is a stainless steel body. All right, this is an AR 3934. That's what's in the motor right currently. Now also, if you look at that tip, you'll see how that tip is. It doesn't go quite over the prong of the spark plug, because you want that on a race motor. You want that spark open in the combustion chamber. So here, I'll show you a regular spark plug. Here's a regular spark plug. Now see how that tip is right over? It's kind of like centered. You see that tip? It's not centered. It's like been cut back. I didn't cut it back. That's the way it is from the factory, so that the spark is as open as it can be in the chamber. So that, like I said, that tip is cut. On this plug, it's cut way back, so that the spark is open in the chamber. That's another thing about the plug. So, anyways, moving on. Anyways, I'm gonna go outside, wipe down the car, because I don't feel like working on a wet car, and so I'm not gonna let you guys watch that. But so I'll be back in a second. We're gonna roll that car and I'll put that motor in. Hello, this is John again. I'm back. I dried off the car with a towel, and I blew the engine compartment out with air. So let's get this motor in the car. First, we got to get the car on the lift. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a better view. What's happening here? You guys like it better there? Better over here. And better over here. Okay. Let's get the car in the garage. Okay, that's about as far as we can go. So now the engine has to come up just like you see it. So, as the engine comes up, I'm going to have to bring the car in. As the car comes in, I'm going to spin that motor. Then I have to put this jack underneath the car and lift up on the tail of the transmission, because the motor is going to be tipped like this, so I'm going to have to lift the tail of the transmission up as the motor goes in the car. Oh, anyways, so up it goes. Back it up just a little bit. Just kind of roll. Never get under nothing. Get under the car. Get under the motor. You never know. Things might break. Steady it. Assist. You guys making out? You able to see that up there? Oh, not really. So bring you guys up a little higher. You can actually see what's going on. Right. All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna clean a spot off for you here. I can put the camera. How's that? You see that now, right? Okay, good. So I got the motor hanging. Okay, now I'm going to roll the car forward as far as I can. See how we do here. That's my air conditioning lights going over. I ran. Okay. Pretty soon, the car's going to jump forward. There's a little spot here in the blacktop where the car's going to start on the ramp. Right there. This is where I have a little bit of a difficult time with the getting the car up on the ramp. Don't get under the motor. Oh, a bolt. Oh, darn. So, let's show you what we're going to do. Okay. Now, we're going to take the tail, and I'm kind of lift up on it a little bit. Spin it right into place. Just like that. No problems. Piece of cake. Okay. Need my chains on the other side. Let's put the chains on the other side. I want to scratch the car out. So this is kind of like the up and down thing here. slow. Nice and easy. Make sure nothing's hitting. I don't like that chain being there. Straight on this side. I know I'm kind of rubbing on the front of the car, but this car has seen a lot more than that little chain rubbing on the front of the car. I can always buff it out anyways. This car, last time I checked, it had 11 dings from pulling into people's parking lot. They open their doors on you, you know? You know the people I'm talking about, they don't care, they're not car people. And they just park alongside and then boom, open the door and they got 11 dings in the car. So when I, just gonna hold that away. If I gotta do a little buffing on the front bumper, ain't no big deal. So now you know why I got such a heavy tilt on it. For that reason. So. Okay. Now, I gotta pull the car up on the ramp, see back there, up on the ramp as I slide the motor. So let's see if we can pull this car up on the lip. I got a plastic container in here that has to come out. I gotta get some lines on the way. And I gotta fish this header in place. This header has to be in a certain location. Okay, so I'm gonna tie it up. Try not to get your fingers in there. You never know when it might come down. So, as soon as I find the wire, aha! Stainless steel wire. I'm gonna grab me a little piece here. Cut a little piece off. And tie that one header up real quick. Woo. Tie that one header up real quick. Okay, so I'll just tie it to whatever I can find right here. This looks good. I just gotta tie it temporarily to hold it up in a place where the motor goes in. It's not pulling in the right direction. We'll go around this way. So it's just temporary. Okay. Okay. Yep, got clearance. Keeps trying to pull over this way, but let's see if we can spin it this way. So let's try to get it going the right way here. Okay. Alright, let's start this up on the ramp. And now I'm just gonna make sure that the tail of the transmission starts in the tunnel, which it has. I can come down just a little bit. I'll be alright. Alright. Let's pull her up some more. Okay, tail of the transmission started in the tunnel. Right, come down the side. Pull up some more. You guys are seeing this, right? Yeah, you guys can see that. So let's come down one more. Bring it in. Some more. You guys can see that, right? Let's take a look at it. See if everything's looking good. Everything is looking good. Okay. Bring in some more. Remember me telling you not to put the pulley on the front of the motor? Well, this is the reason why. This is how close it is. It's okay there. She's sitting on something. Let's check out and see what it is. This guy just kind of wants to wander over a little bit. It's all right. There's no way you get that in there with that pulley in there. Okay, so transmission line on my wheel line. So I'm gonna unsnap that. And I just, it's not caught anymore, but I'm gonna unclip it and see if I can't get it out of the way. I can't pull it over here. Like that. Get it out of the way of the motor going in. Something like that it is. Now just watch that as it goes in. So this stuff you gotta pay attention to. You gotta look. I got my flashlight here. You gotta look at what's going on. So now, remember I was telling you about the transmission jack. It has to go underneath the car, lift up on the tail shaft as it goes in. So that's where I'm at now. Is this jack has to go underneath the car. It's gonna go underneath the tail shaft of the transmission, and as I come down with it, I'm gonna have the jack hold the tail of the transmission. Start the motor into place. So I kind of got to crawl underneath the car a little bit here. That's the way it goes. Sometimes you got to crawl underneath the car a little bit. Anyways, I'm just gonna so anyways, so now I got a transmission jack underneath the tail of the transmission, and the jack can kind of roll underneath the car. So as the motor's coming in, the jack can kind of roll with it. Now I'm gonna come down some. Okay, it looks like everything's clearing so far. So far everything looks good. I'm gonna keep coming down with it. There's pressure somewhere. It's starting to. Aha! Okay. The oil pan is sitting on the front cross member. So it's got to come back up. You got to come back up. So now I'm going to have to level out the motor a little bit. So now I go back to the transmission jack. And I got to jack up the transmission. I got to jack up the tail of the transmission. Okay. Okay, now let's try to bring the motor down and see if that oil pan hits. Now I gotta work this in place. This has to be inside here. So that means I'm probably gonna have to come down with the motor.